Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Hope you had a great weekend as the month is counting down. Okay, Monday onto our serious business. Now, our guest this week, well, let's start off with politics this week. Well, a lot of what we do is actually politics, isn't it? My guest this morning is Dr. Daniel Bwala. Now, Dr. Daniel Bwala is a lawyer. He's spokesman of the Atiku Abubakar presidential campaign. So first of all, let me say a good morning to you, Dr. Bwala.
Thank you for having me. I'm so sorry I didn't know. I don't know your name, but
my name is Yori Folani. I beg your pardon, Yori Folani.
Okay.
So Yori.
Thank you, Mr. Yori.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
As I was just saying, you are spokesman for Atiku Abubakar presidential campaign. And you're a man, shall we say, who, Atiku Abubakar being in PDP, he's the presidential candidate there, between the PDP and even the APC, I guess I could say you know your way around, having yourself been in both parties. Right now, you are of the PDP, but you used to be with APC. Very much as your principal, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of PDP, well, there have been associations, you know, in the past. But you're quite instrumental, shall we say, I've heard the story that you worked for the Tinubu presidential quest. That was back in the primary days. Those days are over now. And here you are now working with Atiku Abubakar. Explain to me first, before we go into our conversation, which is going to be about the former governor of Kano and sitting senator for Kano Central, Ibrahim Shekarau, decamping yet again, let it be said, from his latest party, NNPP, New Nigeria People's Party, into the PDP now. But first of all, tell me, let me, so that we can understand it a bit, back in the day, you worked for the emergence of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Explain that bit to me, and how come you've now moved from there to working for the Atiku Abubakar presidential quest?
Right. Thank you for having me, and good morning to the viewers. Yeah, I was in APC, and I've been in APC for 7 years, one of the leading supporters and advocates for APC, both as a political party and for the government of Muhammadu Buhari. And I played an immense role. Somebody from the party said, in fact, the role I played was a leading role in the emergence of Asiwaju. What I mean by leading role is as far as media is concerned, because there are many other variables that contributed to its emergence. But media-wise, I was a Navy SEAL for him, and I defended him. And some of the people today who are acting as his spokesperson then, at the party level, they were for a different candidate, and they were saying so many things about him that I, even right now from the opposition, I can't say. But I believed in him. I had a very close relationship with him, personal, and I was so happy that what I worked for paid off, that at the end of the day, he emerged the winner.
Okay.
And in fact, he also has a very good thought, you know, towards me, because even before the primaries, having seen how much I worked, he promised to make me a presidential spokesman heading to the campaign, which I consider that as quite impressive and something to respect, because if you are around Asiwaju, you know that there are layers, there are governors, there are individuals who want to prevail one way or the other. And for him to directly speak to you face to face in his car and promise that to you, I consider that an honor. And when I joined PDP and I said I was not going to attack his character, it got to a point when people were even thinking, how can you change your party and say you will not attack the character of Asiwaju? But I said that because I am an African. We come from a foundation where we can debate issues, but without having to insult people. And that's why I said I will not insult his character. I will not even use some of the words that the people who are advocating for him now used against him then. But that is it about my role for him. But he made a decision that I felt was in different direction with my core conviction and philosophy, which was why I left him and I left the party. And after I left the party, I continued to think about the role I can play in Nigeria for nation building. And I felt that the path APC took by that decision was not a path that will unify the country. So I said, we have to work towards ensuring that that kind of arrangement does not work. So, and the only party that could put an end to APC's progression is PDP.
Okay.
And that's one. Number two, my choice of the PDP is also because the candidate of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, is somebody I have the highest regards for. Is somebody I consider at the moment as the most experienced and qualified person given the exigency of the moment and the circumstances we face in Nigeria. And I have a lot to say going forward and right into the campaign about his attributes, about his experience, about his history, and about his commitment and strong will in ensuring that Nigeria is moved in a direction that will take us out of the woods and then place us in a better pedestal.
Okay, thank you very much for that overview. Now, you share the role of a spokesman for Atiku Abubakar presidential campaign with Senator Dino Melaye. So both of you are, handling this particular important function, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So now to the meat of the matter. First of all, we don't even know yet. We do know that Senator, Ibrahim Shekarau has made up his mind to move, but whether it'll be today, newspaper reports have been saying that today in Kano, but I don't know. We're also hearing that that is a tentative. First of all, let me ask you, what information do you have? Will it be today or tomorrow that PDP and its top hierarchy will be receiving Senator Ibrahim Shekarau into the party? Back into the party?
Yes, I know for a fact that there are events which commenced yesterday with the arrival of Atiku Abubakar from France to Kano to pay courtesy visit, and then the series of events might lead up to today and tomorrow. And during this period, we're expecting that His Excellency Shekarau will be officially unveiled, or he will be received into the People's Democratic Party. And because of his importance and the important role he plays in nation building, being a two-time governor, being, I think, former senator or one-time minister or something like that, and then for you to see Atiku Abubakar flying from France, not through Abuja, not through anywhere, but straight to meet him, that tells you of his importance. And he is somebody that the Kano base to the very root and foundation have the highest regards for. He's a mover and shaker of people who believe in a progressive Nigeria. And so him coming into the party, I know is a very big plus, because like I said earlier, when I was with Asiwaju, I remember Asiwaju was making every effort under the heaven to reconcile Shekarau and Ganduje, which never worked. So even Asiwaju's effort in getting Shekarau suggests to me that Shekarau is very important. But he has chosen PDP because PDP is the most attractive party at the moment. And so whether today, tomorrow, or day after tomorrow he's being received, the prospect of his coming into the party is a conclusive proof that PDP will win Kano landslide.
Okay, it's interesting you say that, because I was going to ask you whether the electorate can take what some might see as this flip-flopping. Senator Shekarau left the PDP for APC, was elected into the Senate on the platform of the APC. Then he left for a New Nigeria People's Party. Now he's coming back into the PDP. So how will the electorate see all of this? Will it be a minus or a plus? You said you think it is a plus because of the stature of the man, but might the electorate start feeling being taken for granted, that wherever he goes, he expects people to follow him? Is that not a weakness of sorts?
So there are two types, in my view, of people who view and express views in that regard. Number one, are the social media people who feel that if you stay with a party, you shouldn't have any reason to move to any other party. Unfortunately for this category of people in the social media, they are not being honest with themselves, because virtually every presidential candidate in this election has had to move from one party or the other. I give you an example. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has moved from one party to another. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was in AD, then AC, then ACN, and now APC. The political party, in my view, is an association where people of like minds come together with a common goal and then a push to win elections so they can deliver on what they promise to the people, consistent with the provision of the Constitution. And because Africa is not like the United States or other advanced economies, we are, for example, the ideological dimension influence politics to a larger degree. Like in the US, if you see most of the people who are in the Republican Party are the conservative by nature. Somebody even pushed it further and said there are people who have deep belief system about religion, about faith and everything, because Republican Party tend to tend in that direction. The Democrats are people who believe in liberal democracy, liberality. But these are the other extremes. The other part that relates to policy and economy is that the Republican Party are a party that believe in free market economy. They believe that the government should not keep interfering through regulations. They believe that the government should also not regulate people's lives. Government must respect right to religion. They believe in the supremacy of America, and then you go on and on. The Democrats believe that America is no man's land and anybody can come to America to achieve the American dream. They believe you have to tax the rich in order to even economic activities so that the middle class will be strengthened. Those who are below the middle class level will be given intervention. So if you see even in our Nigeria today, you will see that APC tell to think towards the, what you call the Democratic Party, while PDP tilts towards the Republican Party, in the sense that PDP believe in free market economy, they believe in private sector participation in the economy. APC believe that everybody is poor, government has to throw handouts here and there. Now, then the movement of individual, it is based, number one,
not quite
on
how you
his
were
belief
saying
system
it.
about the character of the people he's joining up to. Right, go ahead.
I was going to say that's not quite how you were saying it when you were on the other side, but maybe this is part of politics. We're going to come to that. We're going to come to even how are you concerned that people might look at you and say that, look, you're being a communicator here. It's not as if you have any particular conviction. Otherwise, you couldn't work for Tinubu and then the next moment, in the next step, work for Atiku Abubakar. That to you, it's just a job, not really a conviction.
Okay, so if you permit me to respond, there was a time both Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar were in one political party, and Abubakar was the presidential candidate of that political party. And then they part separate ways. Are you suggesting that both of them are doing job rather than conviction? That's the first point. And then number two, you said I'm a communicator. Let me tell you my conviction.
Yeah.
Since you push it that way. I try to avoid that, but because I felt there are bigger issues to talk about going to the election. But since you raised it, it's good I say that this is my first time in your program and talk about conviction. My conviction is that the nation Nigeria consists of multiplicity of faith, background, cultural belief system, and inequality in the system. Mm-hmm. And so if we have to achieve the Nigerian dream, we must respect what we call diversity. Now, the concept of diversity the world over has now come to stay, so much so that if you go to England now, you will see the person who is about to become the Prime Minister of England is from a minority. He is a son of an immigrant, and he's a Muslim, because the country of the United Kingdom encouraged diversity. In other words, they ensure that their policy is such that somebody who is at a weaker position or disadvantage is not inhibited from achieving his highest dream in a big country like that. APC made a decision to select a Muslim ticket. So even on that, I have a right, since I don't believe in that philosophy, and he was going to make me the spokesman, I couldn't be the marketer or salesperson of what I don't believe in. Isn't that a conviction? That's number one. Number two, diversity would have entailed that historically in Nigeria, since the return of democracy, we have always balanced the tickets across all levels, at least at the national, because that is the federation. And for the first time, Asiwaju is fielding a Muslim ticket. So I felt that there is a demographics, which of course is about 80 million, that will feel disenfranchised, or rather they will feel that they are snubbed. And I belong to that demographic, so on conviction ground I left. Now, having left, I know a lot of people will prefer that I go home and sit down because they believe if I move to the other side, I will do a lot of damage to the party I left. That's why you see in social media, the minute you say something, they come all out against you because they know of your capacity and contribution. So I believe that having explained it, it must be clear to you that I made a decision on the basis of conviction. But I even went deeper to tell you that even the candidates who are running for the presidential ticket in both political parties have met at one time and have parted at different times on the basis of conviction. If you want to know why they parted, when Atiku was running for presidential candidate on the party, Asiwaju flaunted. Asiwaju wanted to be his vice presidential candidate. And Atiku said, no, it will not be good given the circumstance and situation we're in the country. And because it didn't work, they worked separate ways. Many years later, Bwala is leaving Asiwaju still on the basis of this belief system. Now, another Christian may not view it that way. I have to respect the right of everybody. I am not saying my will should be imposed on anybody, but people must respect my right to make a decision based on my conviction, and then I live by my conviction. So I believe that this is not about work. I have been, all my life, I've been with APC since APC came to be. And when I was supporting APC, I give you an example, the spokesman for Asiwaju at the moment, he is spokesman. When we were at the primaries, I was supporting Asiwaju, he was supporting Rotimi Amechi. There were the kind of heinous and unprintable issues they raised and generated against Asiwaju. I can't do it even in PDP. He's today the spokesperson for Asiwaju.
Who are you referring to?
Whether it is of conviction?
Sorry, Dr. Bwala. Who are you referring to?
Asiwaju has one chief spokesperson.
That you don't want to mention?
I'm referring to him.
You don't want to mention his name?
As a matter of fact, let me tell you this. Personally, I believe that Asiwaju made a big mistake by allowing Governor Lalong and Festus Keyamo to be DG and spokesperson, and I will tell you why. They did not, and I still believe they don't believe in him, because when we were in the primaries, they were not supporting him. They were supporting a candidate other than him. Asiwaju ought to have appointed people who were very loyal to him, who died for him at a time when everybody turned their backs from him. They are the ones that can carry his message. But he has carried people who don't believe in him. And when the campaign starts and we begin to bring to public fora what they say, that is when it will be clear to Asiwaju that he made the wrong choice.
Okay, so now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Quite frankly, there's no way you escape the politicking that's going to be involved in this kind of a conversation, giving your role and the subject matter. Okay, but let me try and stay on the lane of the subject matter. Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, what would you say he brings to the table of Atiku Abubakar's quest? Having, although you've also explained it, having spoken about the flip-flops as it can be seen by other people. What do you think? What is it now that he brings to the... Because I must say, going by the news, people seem excited about the fact that he might be coming. In fact, I think it's a done deal. He will be coming to the PDP anytime soon. So what do you think he's bringing to the table?
Right. Yeah, what Shekarau brings to the table, he brings Kano to the table. Shekarau, you can find that out, has a checkered history of influence in Kano State. Everybody was looking to have Shekarau in their camp, because as a two-time, you couldn't have been a two-time governor in a state like Kano if you were not popular. Two, long after you left power as a governor, if you are not popular, you could not have had such an influence that he commands in Kano State. But Shekarau's coming into the party is emblematic of many more things that will happen in the Northwest. And I will tell you quickly. The Northwest overwhelmingly voted for APC in the elections, both 2015 and 2019. What the Northwest got as a dividend from APC is insecurity. And you know that the Northwest now is called as the epicenter of insecurity in West Africa. In fact, somebody even said in Africa.
Sorry,
and it is the president.
I want to understand.
Allow me, permit me to land.
Because I wanted to understand that point. Are you saying that APC brought insecurity to the Northwest?
Yes. You know, because in leadership consists of action and inaction. There are some things you do that creates a problem. There are some things you fail to do which creates a problem. So APC brought insecurity to the Northwest by inaction, not by action. What do I mean by inaction? The things you needed to do which you did not do. The steps you needed to take which you did not take. For example, on the 26th of February, 2015, at the Royal Institute of International Studies, the Chatham House in London, the President of the Federal Republic was addressing the world, and he told them that PDP could not spend and failed to spend to fight insecurity, and that if he's elected as president, the world will have no reason to worry about Nigeria. 7 years later, the world is more worried about Nigeria than they were in 2015. Why? If you say you inherited insecurity from the Northeast, did you inherit insecurity from the Northwest? The answer certainly is no. Banditry has spread across the Northwest that they even threatened to abduct the president of the Federal Republic. Remember, they attacked the prison. They are now creating a government somewhere in Kaduna because the governor of Kaduna, who is an APC governor, wrote a letter to the president to say that bandits have formed a government there, they are collecting taxes, and they threaten there will be no election. So this, and then you go to the southeast, it is no-go area. You come to north central, you see the same. Between Kaduna and Abuja, in the last 6 or 9 months, 1.2 billion was extorted from poor private citizens of the Federal Republic through banditry. So the inaction of APC-led government has created the insecurity. But the Northwest, this is what they are getting. That's why you are seeing them en masse. They are moving to PDP. Now, 2 days ago, you saw the rally in Daura, where the president comes from. You see the sea of heads. Kano is also part of the Northwest. In fact, let me make a bold prediction. It will be difficult for APC to win a single state in the Northwest. And I will tell you when the campaign starts. Because majority of the senators in the National Assembly that are thinking of coming to PDP, they come from the Northwest. The nephew of the president resigned his membership of APC and is thinking about moving to PDP. PDP is a party that all through the years they governed in the Northwest, they didn't give this insecurity to the Northwest, whether by action or inaction. And PDP was also confronted with its shares of insecurity. But how you deal with a situation goes a long way to talk about your capacity, your capability, and your openness to deal with insecurity. So I made bold to say that Shekarau is one. There are 2 governors, APC governors at the moment, that are contemplating working for the People's Democratic Party. But when the campaign starts, you will see it more.
You know, you made a number of assertions in there, which these are in the realm of your opinion, and you're entitled to them. But I don't know that facts actually bear them out. I mean, saying that, for example, APC will be lucky to win even 1 state, it doesn't seem to match the lie of the ground. People can see the popularity of APC. People have seen visits to those areas by, for instance, APC and its presidential candidate. The governor is not without influence. The governor and the APC, hierarchy, they're quite tight. So, but when you make these statements, as I say, it's your prerogative, it's your right. But I'm not sure that
permit me to clarify
all will agree with you.
Permit me to clarify that.
Sure.
Let me. No, I don't speak in conjecture. I will give you facts. But as a political party and a member of a political party, I cannot bring out all the strategies we're adopting to take over Northwest. But I will give you facts that
but the fact that APC
and they're in the public. No. Let me finish.
You said APC will be lucky to win even 1 state.
Space.
You said APC
so that's what I want to go ahead to tell you why.
Let me try and understand that.
Let me go ahead to tell you.
Sure.
Let me go ahead to tell you that. Now, I started by telling you that the Northwest overwhelmingly vote the president. First of all, you don't win in Nigeria as a president if the Northwest does not vote for you. They have the highest voting bloc in the country, right? That's one. Then number two, as we speak, when the APC presidential flag bearer won the primaries, he appointed as his vice presidential candidate somebody from the Northeast and not from the Northwest. Soon after he has done that, we started hearing grumbling from the Northwest. Major blocs in the Northwest said, unless that is reversed, they are not going to work for Asiwaju. We also heard that a number of governors from the Northwest, up till this moment as I speak to you, are posing what we call a sit-down look, which is why it is in the public domain that Asiwaju appointed a committee to try to appease them. Two. Number three, you remember the insecurity in the Northwest where farmers cannot go to the farm and farm because they have to pay the bandit. There are places where they even pay tax. Even the cattle rearers cannot successfully do that. So in other words, the economic activities of the Northwest is zero or minus zero. That's the third one. Number three, about 20 states as we speak, in Nigeria, in APC-led states, 20 states, they have parallel executive. And the national chairman of APC said, unless they deal with this situation, they are not likely going to have a chance in the election. So I'm quoting him. And thirdly, the presidential aspirants that contested alongside Asiwaju, not a single of them is fully on board with him as I speak to you, because you are a journalist, you must have read in the media and the rest, which is why he also appointed a committee to try to appease them. Their anger and frustration is that the fact that they stood and challenged Asiwaju does not mean that their political life and career should end, because almost all of them have problems in their respective states. I give you an example, and I'm not saying the person told me, but you can see that for yourself. In the South, there was a presidential candidate or aspirant that ran against Asiwaju. Up till this moment, APC and Asiwaju have been negotiating to poach a governor from the South to support them, and yet that aspirant, who is a leader of the party in that state, was bypassed and sidelined. Do you think such a person will be happy? He has never said a word in the media and has never been upbeat about the campaign. You go to the Northeast, where the Senate president comes from. Many people said that as soon as he challenged Asiwaju, then a senator from his place who had an understanding that he was holding the place for him suddenly said he was never going to step down. And the man is having issues. You can spread that across every part. A party that is having this challenge will definitely have a scare in the election. But why did Bwala say the Northwest they cannot get a single state? Let me start with Kano. Shekarau is on board
before you launch.
At some point, Kwankwaso is going to support us. At some point. Now, they can deny that, but I'm saying at some point is going to support us. So we've taken Kano. Have you not seen the migration of people from PDP in KB? Of APC in KB. They are migrating from APC in KB and are going into PDP. If you come to Katsina, while the governor of Katsina a few days ago was talking about we will win, right behind his door, you will see the crowd that rallied around the defection of 100,000 people from APC to PDP in Daura. If you go to Jigawa, you have the influence of Lamido.
Can I just come in? Can I just come? Thank you very much. Can I just come in? There are a number of things you said, but as I said, you're our guest, and we want to hear from you. So you're going to be at liberty to say those things. But I don't quite understand where you got the conclusion from that the presidential candidate of the APC is at odds, or with those, for example, that contested with him. I don't know. That doesn't seem to be the case. They have a relationship. Asiwaju has met some of them. You yourself are aware of this. But as I said, it's a political situation. So, and your chief function now is as the spokesperson, along with Dino Melaye, for an opposing camp. So I understand that, but I'm concerned with facts. How can you say that Asiwaju is not, for example, let me answer that. Harmony. He's not in harmony with those he contested with. But I'm sorry, sir.
Right.
I'm going to give you a full opportunity to respond, but I've got to go on a break now. As soon as we come back, you'll respond. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back. And our guest is Dr. Daniel Bwala, spokesman, alongside Senator Dino Melaye for the Atiku Abubakar presidential campaign. Thank you once more, Dr. Bwala, for being with us. And just before we went away, I was saying that a number of the things that you had said, even though our subject matter is the imminent return to the PDP of Senator Shekarau, two-time former governor of Kano State, it's inevitable that we've also veered into the presidential candidates themselves. Now, I was saying that a lot of the things you said simply don't stand up. They don't stand to reason. For instance, you gave the impression that, you know, Asiwaju is pretty much standing as a lone ranger. I mean, to exaggerate it only slightly from the way you said it. You said that all those that he contested with, they're now at odds. You said that APC will be very lucky to win any state at all in Kano. Now, as I said, people will understand and make allowances for the fact that these are different political camps. One is APC, one is PDP. When you were with APC, you know, you said you admired the man. He was an admirable person. That is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But now you've explained that principally, even though you still have the highest regard for him, but where you had to part company with him was the Muslim ticket. So what I'm saying is that I understand that, Dr. Bwala, but I don't know if you will agree that the capital, the addition, the benefit that the former governor of Kano State, Shekarau, will bring to the Atiku's campaign, whether it will heighten his chances or indeed slow them down. That's what I think we should be discussing, even though you're at liberty to do any segues that you want.
Every question, every answer that I gave is premised on the question you asked. If you hadn't asked question in relation to what I've said, there's no way I would have answered that, because that's the basic thing, of course, in communication. You are asked a question, you answer. And if I ask a question, you refuse to answer, they will say you didn't answer. But let me tell you why. When you say that Asiwaju has met all the presidential aspirants, I'm sure you did not physically follow them, but you followed the report. It was reported. And so you believe the report. Basically, that's what journalism is all about. Everything I have said, whether in respect to the presidential aspirants not comfortable with the fact that they felt Asiwaju is fighting their political career, is reported. All you need is to Google. Whether the Northwest are uncomfortable because he chose somebody other than someone from the Northwest is also reported. And all you need is to Google. Whether Asiwaju has an issue with some of the key stakeholders of the party by a certain decision he has taken is out in the media space. There is not a single word or single thing I'm saying about the Northwest that is not reported. So it is left for either you to believe the report or to tell me the report is false. But you cannot say it's my assertion. I'm reporting what is happening. Yeah, but you made the conclusion. So that's one.
You made the conclusion that APC is responsible for the unrest, banditry, and whatever in the north. You made that conclusion. You said by inaction.
So let me.
You said more by inaction than by action.
As long as you can situate the word inaction, I'm comfortable with whatever conclusion you make on that. Yes, I want to repeat for the opt-in time. APC is responsible for the insecurity in the Northwest by their inaction. Inaction simply is your inability to take steps that could have avoided that. And I said it, and I believe it. Okay. And the facts supporting that.
And you believe that the steps that were not taken, if indeed your candidate were to emerge victorious, he could take those steps.
Yes, definitely he will, because he has a checkered history. For example, Obasanjo was not in the country when Chris Ngige was abducted. He didn't wait for Obasanjo to come before he ordered the deliverance of Chris Ngige from the hands of the abductors. That is what leadership is all about, decisiveness. And then two, during the period of Obasanjo and Atiku government, we also had the problem of Sharia law. We have other insecurity. Remember Bakassi and the rest? They took a decisive step. They applied what I call the carrot and the stick approach to resolving dispute. The ones that require a dialogue by bringing stakeholders, they did that. The ones that require decisive step in such a manner that even the security operatives will know you mean what you are saying, they did that. And where you fail to perform your duties when ammunition and arms and everything you asked for were supplied to you, they will not hesitate to sack you. They never hesitated to restructure security apparatus. You can check that throughout their time. They never hesitated in engaging religious leaders in all matters that affect security. They involve the traditional rulers effectively. In other words, their actions nipped in the bud the crisis that would have escalated to the situation of precarious. Now, what APC government is not doing is that they have made enough arms and ammunition, but they have not been holding people to account who failed to deliver after being supplied with the arms. Two, you have seen what happened in, I don't know if it is Zamfara or it is Katsina, where the leader of the bandit was given a traditional title. And then you have cases where they sit down and negotiate with them and no result.
You're blaming APC for that?
They came forward.
You're blaming APC for that too?
What I'm saying that it is the APC-led government that have failed to deal with the issue. Who is the governor in Zamfara? Is it a PDP governor? It's not a PDP governor. The governor in Katsina, is he a PDP governor?
Okay.
It's not a PDP governor. I'm talking about in the days of PDP's government, they nipped in the bud anytime crisis came. In this government, their inaction is what led to the insecurity. So it bears repeating that the inaction of APC created the problem in the Northwest.
All right. Now, you know, on a program like this, you probably know us by reputation already. We take all sorts of views. You know, even your views this morning, for instance, are known for what they are. They are your views, and you will express them freely. However, there are other views to the matter. I don't want us to forget Senator Shekarau and his coming and what he will bring to the Atiku presidency. You've explained that he's a really hot property, political hot property in Kano State. That's what you've explained. But you've also, put side by side with that the fact that the APC is not likely to be successful in any of the northern states. Perhaps you yourself will have to accept that there is a bit of an exaggeration in that utterance. At least a bit.
What is the exaggeration? Let me tell you something, sir. Politics is permutation. Politics is calculation. And politics is engagement. Permutation, calculation, and engagement. My confidence is drawn from these three premises: permutation, calculation, and engagement. The engagement is the reason why, for example, Atiku Abubakar flew from France straight to Kano to show the importance he plays to Shekarau and the people of Kano. And it's yielded. And the permutation is us looking at the situation, and we are arriving at conclusion on the basis of feedback we get, not just on our own part as PDP, but as being reported by the generality of the people. Every assertion that I made, that I told you, which was reported, there are facts in the public domain. How can you see these facts in the public domain and still believe that in the midst of this cacophony and in the midst of this crisis, that a party like that stands a chance? They cannot. There are other parts of Nigeria where they will make a statement here and there. But as far as the Northwest is concerned, I am telling you that the Northwest voted overwhelmingly for APC, and they got insecurity overwhelmingly.
Okay.
And now the northern Nigeria, I want you to know.
I hear you.
Allow me to make this end so you can put them together.
Okay.
The reason why the Northeast in 2015 overwhelmingly voted PDP out was because the Northeast was badly affected by insecurity. So the Northwest will have to react. They are reacting already, because they felt we can't give you a vote and your party would deliver insecurity to us in the Northwest.
All right. It's fine. We'll go wherever the road takes us. Shekarau was supposed to be subject matter, and indeed what you're saying is also useful. But in terms of engagement, you gave three, engagement, did you say projection, did you say whatever, of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, citing the example of him journeying straight from wherever, did you say France, into Kano State for the event. The same Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, according to Wike, has not been able to engage, done everything but engage with him directly. So, you see, it seems to me that you just pull these chestnuts out as useful, when they are useful.
There is this tactics in the journalism. I did a bit of journalism too. There is this tactics in journalism that sometimes when I see it, I laugh. You have mentioned that we're going to discuss Shekarau at least, I counted it 7 times, but you will end up asking a question outside of Shekarau. So in other words, Shekarau is a punchline, but the real conversation is matters other than Shekarau. But I'm happy to answer them anyway.
That's what you are making it.
That's
what you are making it. And quite frankly,
no, you asked me
there's
a question.
Sense in which we don't
for example, you mentioned the issue of Wike. Haven't mentioned Wike now.
No,
if I evade Wike and I go to Shekarau, you will say I did not answer the question.
You spoke about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. You cited one of his virtues as that for being engagement. But Wike has been complaining that he has not been engaged with, for example.
Okay, so let me answer that, and you will be excited with this answer. Since after the primaries, presidential primaries, where Atiku won, and then he made a consequent decision to appoint a vice president which didn't favor Wike, and then all of these things that is being reported by the media. You can see in all these stages, PDP is constant and focused in the sense that there have been steps you can point at in the engagement process. He has met with Wike at in the residence of a stakeholder of the party. They agreed, and later they formed a negotiating team that met also in Port Harcourt and further had a discussion. Then we also heard about their meeting in London, and they have agreed that we'll have one more meeting. You can see a democratic process of dispute resolution. You don't find that in APC. In APC, what usually happens is when they have primaries or whatever, they will all move to the villa. They want to go and hear what the president said so that everybody will be asked to play along. You remember it was the national chairman who said they have chosen a candidate and it is Ahmed Lawal, and said whether there will be primaries or not. And they have not demonstrated up till now in all of the committees they formed in reconciling whether the issue of Asiwaju with the people aspirants or Asiwaju or the people that are complaining about people stepping down, the vice presidential candidate stepping down, or complaining any sort. You cannot see them holding any meeting. And yet the crisis is deepening. And so what they do is that they are all hiding under the umbrella of media reportage of Wike and Waziri. And for the past 1 week that there is still in that camp, that is when, oops, you see all of the problems now coming out like a clap of thunder out of a blue sky. So you can see that Atiku has, for example, Atiku was in France, but he stooped down and came to London to meet them for engagement. That is what engagement is all about, to show maturity, to demonstrate your willingness. He even issued a statement asking all the party stakeholders to be cautious, and nobody should be saying things that would denigrate the image of Wike. You can never see any presidential spokesman or any media aide in People's Democratic Party that will say anything that would denigrate Wike, because we believe he's a party stakeholder, we believe he's a party leader, and we believe he has a right to express whatever he wants to express.
Okay.
And we also believe that it is also okay for them to sit and negotiate so we can have a common front.
Okay.
That is engagement.
Okay, engagement and a lack of denigration, even as the PDP has said that the governor of Rivers was engaging in anti-party activities. But I don't know how, maybe I should have expected it.
I don't know who said that anyway.
Okay. There is not that feeling within the party that because of the meetings that the River State governor is having, they see it as anti-party activities. You don't know.
Again, your own is conjecture because you said there is a feeling, but you did not say it is reported.
It is reported. It is reported. Dr. Bwala,
where is it reported, sir?
It is reported. But, I want to, first of all, I want to thank you. It's been an interesting conversation.
But I can't hear him.
I can hear you. I was saying that I wanted to thank you because I want to leave a little space for phone-ins. I wanted to thank you for coming on and having this conversation with us, and also letting us see the dynamics of politics, what it is. just a short while ago, you were in, you were in the APC. Now you're in PDP, and you are being quite, vigorous. Maybe as vigorous as you were when you were still in APC. You are as vigorous, if not even more, now that you're in PDP. And the viewers are listening, and so they'll be able to sort of figure it out. And because of that, I wanted to sort of thank you very much for coming on. Well, I understand that we lost the line, but our thanks to Dr. Daniel Bwala, spokesman, the Atiku Abubakar presidential campaign, alongside Senator Dina Melaye. And as he said, he was a very staunch supporter of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidential ambition until very, very recently. Now, I don't know, we probably have a few minutes just in case. I'm suspecting that a number of people might want to phone in. So if the phones are up to the task, maybe we could take one or two calls just before the program ends. Long story short, in that conversation, the bit about the sliver about former Governor Shekarau, the bit that we got about him was that he is a major political capital, and everybody was hoping to have him very much on their side. You also heard a lot of other stuff that it is left for the viewer, who fortunately is quite conversant with the Nigerian political scene. If there's one thing that is reported ad nauseum, if you want, is the political horizon of Nigeria. And even as our guest referred to, both on the social media as well as the conventional media. So good morning, Miriam. Good morning, Miriam, in Abuja.
Hello, good morning, Uncle Yuri.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle Yuri, when programs like this come up, please, I want you to give us the time to respond to some of these politicians. Bwala was on your program, and he's of the opinion that the North, especially the Northwest, will not vote for
APC.
For Asiwaju. My sister says something all the time. I laugh in chapters. He knows it is not true. He's a politician. And just yesterday, he was with Asiwaju. Today, he's with Atiku. What has changed? What has really changed on ground? Yesterday, he was swearing to high heavens that Asiwaju was going to win this election. Today, Asiwaju is not going to win even in the Northwest. It is laughable. You see, it is, sometimes I find it so funny when politicians come and we think we are all fools and we don't know what we are doing. I don't know what gives him the impression that the North will not vote for Asiwaju. I don't know what gives him or gave him the impression to come here to tell us that Kanu will not vote for Asiwaju. Because Shekarau is moving today from Kanu to PDP, so Asiwaju is not going to win the Northwest. It is laughable. I find it, I don't know what they think we are.
Well,
listen to them talk.
Indeed.
I don't know what they want. I don't know what they think we are.
Well, thank you for calling in, Miriam. As I was saying, he was our guest, and we had invited him, and so he was going to go wherever he wanted to go. Of course, we were, putting things in perspective. But more importantly, the listener, the viewer out there, is not unaware of the true situation of facts. We, as you know, as anchors, can't bring too much comment into it. We're not supposed to bring any. But thank you very much for calling in. As I told the respected guest, our viewers are listening and will be able to form their own opinions as well. But he was a guest, and he used it. And, he had these positions that I couldn't quite understand, and we had told him so, but, this is the way it is. We are very near to the season. And Dr. Daniel Bwala, now spokesman for PDP, alongside Dino Melaye, this is the picture that he paints. I am sure that if any APC person were to also be able to be on the same program, a lot of what he said would be rubbished, will be just chucked straight into the dustbin. But he's a learned person, and he's doing his job. It's all about communication. So really, we got to leave it here in the absence of any other call, because I know there will be so many calls. And as Miriam said, thank you very much. We do need to leave enough time for people to rejoin the issue. That's the way it's going to be today. We are expecting that Senator Shekarau, two-time former governor of Kano State, will be joining the PDP, will be received into the PDP by the presidential candidate of PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and other top-ranking PDP members. If not today, then tomorrow. That's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folare. Bye-bye for now.